This.
You, Tom. That's not a hunt. It just scared the piss out of me again.
Again?
Have you or a loved one recently been looking for a horror movie with extra long, extra old porn? Well, this might just be the film for you. Or your loved one.
Are you alright?
No.
X is directed by Ty West and stars Mia Goth, Jenna Ortega, and Brittany Snow, and is about a couple of, well, a few amateur porn stars who decide to go screw on a farm, and then things end up going bump in the night. And that's about as original as Ice-T, I guess. Honestly, I don't even necessarily know where to begin with this movie. However, I guess I'll start with the good stuff. The good stuff is the visuals, the art, the makeup, the cinematography, all that good stuff. This movie is very well made, and that is the best thing that I can say about it, because it is a very well made movie. There are a lot of scenes, or shots I guess, that are very stylistic, very nice to look at, catches your eye very easily, keeps you entertained. And there's a lot of scenes that are really good too. There's one in particular, well, I guess my favorite really, might actually be the opening, to be honest. The shot at the very beginning really caught my eye and made me think, yep, this is going to be one of those movies that, like, whoever the cinematographer is really knows what the fuck they're doing, okay? I loved everything about how this movie was shot, from the way it looked and everything. It is a horror movie, obviously, and I feel like they got the feeling, the style of a 1970s horror film, like, down pat. They absolutely nailed it on the head in that regard. Like, I kept thinking to myself, like, I only recently watched, like, some of the Friday the 13th films, like, earlier this year, and I kept thinking to myself, wow, this really does feel like one of those, like, old slasher films. And I really thoroughly enjoyed it, even though I myself have never been, like, too big of a slasher fan. I really thoroughly enjoyed the callback here. The story itself, honestly, wasn't that great. It was probably the weakest part of the entire film. It really does boil down to, like, a bunch of cliches and nothing particularly original. Which is kind of upsetting, especially with how good everything else was. It was kind of upsetting to see, like, the writing and the story not getting as much attention. It would have been nice had the story taken a bit more liberties, a bit more risks in regards to where it was going, because you probably could have guessed from the very beginning what was going to happen. And in some cases, I think I did, and, like, got half of my guesses right, even though, like, the rest of them were still fairly predictable. It was just upsetting in that regard, especially, I know I keep repeating myself already, but, like, it was just so well made. It's just so upsetting that the story wasn't that great. However, the acting is pretty decent, the dialogue is pretty decent, everything kind of makes sense. It's just upsetting that it's not original. Back to the visuals again, because I really want to give props to the, like, makeup department, because the main villains in the story, this movie, are really, really creepy, okay? Like, they had no business being as creepy as they are. They're just two normal people. Why am I hiccuping? They're just two normal people. Like, they are so creepy. And, like, what blew my mind, because I had a feeling this was the case, but I didn't, like, make sure of it until just now. But the main star, Mia Goth, actually plays both the main character and the villain. And it's so cool. So cool. Like, I felt like that was the case, but I wasn't sure about it. And no, that's not a spoiler. Get over it if you are upset about that. But it was so cool. Like, I can't get over that. She's so creepy, dude. And her husband in the movie is also very creepy. Not as creepy, but still pretty darn creepy. And it does make for some very interesting scenes, especially combined with the fact that, like, this movie is also, like, leaning super heavy into the idea of, like, Christianity versus this new coming of age, like, sex era. Like, it is so heavy with the porn. Like, if you were expecting a cliche horror film with sex and nudity in it, this is exactly it. They just amped it up, okay? They, like, really just drove in the idea that this was, like, nothing but sex. Nothing but sex. There is so much sex and nudity in this movie. I swear. They're like, screw it. We're just gonna have all of the actors be nude. Why not? Why not? Unfortunately, none of the kills in the movie I felt like were particularly great. They were very, like, all the effects were really well done and everything, but, like, they weren't great. Like, they kind of sucked, honestly. They just kind of sucked. There was one that kind of caught my attention, but it's mostly because I have a slight fear of things, as I'm sure most people do. It's like, you go for this one particular body part, and you already have, like, chills and crap down your spine. But, like, there's nothing cool that happens with it. And I'm sure that, like, a lot of people are like, oh, you don't even need to have cool kills as long as it's, like, scary. And there are kills that happen and everything that, like, sets it up well. But, like, it was like, bland. It was pretty bland. Kind of disappointing, really. I wasn't expecting a slasher, but it could have, like, spiced it up a little bit. They were all, like, nothing, like, paranormal or anything. But they were just, like, so boring. I don't really feel like any of the actors did a particularly standout job. However, for some reason, I felt like my favorite character actually ended up being the blonde porn actress, to be honest. Like, I didn't even like the main character that much. I think my favorite was honestly just the blonde one. I don't even remember what her name was in the film. I don't think they said it too often. But she just seemed the nicest, I think. Maybe. I don't know, everyone else seemed, like, really obnoxious in certain regards. Which leads me to the thing that pissed me off the most about this movie. There is a moment, like, halfway through that is really irritating. Really irritating. And I don't want to spoil anything. But, like, all I'm going to say is this person did not deserve anything that happened to them. I don't feel like they deserved it at all. Not even a little bit. Like, wow. Just wow. Anyway, with everything wrapped all together, tied with a bow, I think I'm going to give this movie a good on my tier list. I think I'm going to stick it right in the good section, because, like, it didn't satisfy me enough to put on the great. Like, all the cinematography and everything, how well made it was great. It was pretty greatly made, but, like, it kind of let me down, to be honest. I would have liked a little bit more substance from this movie, and for that reason, I'm going to stick in my good tier. Hey there, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And if you enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave a comment down below and let me know. If you really enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing, as it really helps me out. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you later. Goodbye.